All right, we are back on. Just when. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna be looking at altcoins, Bitcoin right now. I'm gonna be taking any requests. So if you have any requests, type it down below in the comments. Let me know what you want me to look at. I'll take a look at it. I'll try to do some TA on it right now. But this is just a zoomed in version of Bitcoin right now. Hello, hello. So yesterday, if you guys caught my live stream yesterday, I was talking about this W pattern here, right here, making a W, which are reversal patterns, and the neckline was very clearly defined right here. But we did see actual rejection from this point. I said if we were going to make it above here, we were going to come back up to these levels, but we didn't. We actually got rejected right here. So that's how TA usually is. So there's two outcomes that could generally happen, and you have to be on point with where those turning points are, and then you can see either go down like this or come back up. So usually just depends on what's happening right now. So you always have to be updated. So that's why I'm going to be doing these live streams too. I'm going to try to do them every day, just so you all can gain a little bit more knowledge if I can help you with that. And we're going to look at just different altcoins, whatever anybody's really interested. Dogecoin. Okay, yeah, we'll look at Dogecoin, FEG. Let's check that one out too. I think did I make one for FEG? Let's see. FEG. Is that just another coin? It's a token I see here, so it's wrapped ETH. Let's look at it. One market cap. Okay. So FEG, that sounds familiar. Feg. Oh, is the gorilla one? Yeah. I don't really mess with this because I mean it is a token. So yeah, the volume is very low. It's already down 30% in volume. So that means people that are buying and selling, it has to be pretty high volume in order for you can get those nice volatility spikes and for you to trade. You know, we see a nice movement when we have lots of good volume, meaning that it's a popular token or coin, and people are buying and trading it. But right now I mean, it's still a couple million, but that's very low compared to a lot of other altcoins in the top 100. And also, if we look at the ranking here, I don't know if it's kind of cut off, but let me just move it a little bit more this way. But if you can see, the rank is really, really low. And I only usually trade or invest or hold tokens and coins that are above rank 100, like around that range. Just because below that, the market caps do get very small and you do get smaller volumes. So not that much people are trading the token. So if we look here, we are still it's bouncing off these very low supports. Looking like it's making a descending triangle. But right now it's not on trading view, so I can't look at the moving averages or everything like that. But it just looked like it just blasted off here. What is it, May 11th? That's kind of when all the other meme tokens were getting pretty popular. So that's why we saw that huge spike. But I mean, the trading volume is so low, and it's down 30%. And also, how much see like the market cap is pretty low. It's less than $1 billion. So it is a micro cap, so it could go very high very quickly, like we saw back here too. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the only thing it has going for it. This is like the gorilla conservation one. I remember, if I remember correctly. But there's just so much in the circulating supply, and the market cap's pretty low. So you know this one's a very risky one in my opinion because it is very lowly ranked. You know, so the market cap is very small. So there's a lot of different tokens around this market cap. So if we let's look here at cryptocurrencies. See like the top 100. Yeah, even Big Token, which is top 100. I do have Big Token. Full disclosure, it still has volume of at least 120 million. So around 60 times that of the Feg token. So that's why I like these top 100 coins better because the volume is way better, you know? So the people are buying and selling at a huge amount. So like 137 million, 50 million. Even this small one, KuCoin token, 10 million. KuCoin is a good exchange though. I do love KuCoin. All right. Bitcoin today on their exchange. Okay, listed. Yeah, I'll take a look at Shiba in a second. I'll take a look at Dogecoin right now. Let's take a look at Dogecoin. But right now, Bitcoin is actually did hit its price target. For all those that are wondering, we were creating this ascending triangle right here. So these are bearish patterns, meaning that they do ultimately end up going to the downside, and the price target is the bottom of the wedge. So we have an ascending wedge right here, and right here we did actually hit that price target. So it bounces like this, boom, boom, broke support, came back down, hit this, retested this blue box. So it all depends if we get this nice bounce and we come back up here. That would be the best case scenario for the cryptocurrency market in general. But let's look at Shiba. Let's look at Shiba real quick. All right, yeah, Shiba is just it's barely holding on. Oops, it's barely holding on top of this blue box. In my last live stream yesterday, I was talking about how we have to get above here too, but we are still creating that rising. We're actually creating the same pattern too as Bitcoin. If we take the tops here, we're creating that rising wedge, that ascending wedge, and it's not a bullish sign. If we come down here to retest this area, so if you can see, we're like boom, 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 kind of hovering, holding here, found another retest. So we can retest this higher area here at around 0.000007. We can come back there, or we can come back down here, retest this area, and if this does not hold, if we can't get a bounce back up here to retest this part again, we are most likely going to come back down here and trade below here to the price target of the rising wedge, which is the bottom of the wedge right here at 0.000006. So that's 6 areas. So that's what it's looking like. And right now we are finding support on our moving averages for the 4 hourly. This orange line is giving us support. This yellow line is giving us support. We have this ascending support here too. So we got a lot of support, even the blue box as well. So that's what we're going to have to look out for. But as you saw, like this wick to the very top did give us strong resistance. So it gave us a lot of strong resistance, and we came back down here. So it all depends on Bitcoin. A lot of these coins depend on Bitcoin, but it is we have resistance coming up soon, but we do also have support for Shiba. It all just depends. But if we do come back down here, I'm expecting support, or at least a small bounce right here at around the point 0.00000627 area. But right now we're just hovering above here. We have to hold this to make it back up. So we will see very soon if that actually does happen. Let's take a look at Dogecoin. I know somebody asked about Dogecoin. Let's take a look here. Yeah. All right. So we did find some resistance right here. So I'm gonna draw that resistance line right there. Just because we found support here, here, and here, made a move to the upside, came back down, retested this area of support, broke. And what's cool is I love seeing how the price actually plays out, because you can always just look at the clear support and resistance. Just look at where the price bounces off. And if you want, you can go on higher time frames to make it more apparent. Like if I look on the daily, I can see how the price just stays above this white line, right? I mean, apart from the wicks coming down here, but we see how it came back down, and look, and then we found a retest of it. A retest, and then boom, another rejection. So I do see Doge is looking a little bit more bearish right now, just in the short term. And if I extend this box outward, we are finding some support on it. But we have to be on the lookout if we hold this, because this is the daily candle. So we already right here, kind of indecision candle, meaning there's a wick to the upside and to the downside that are very equal. So the markets are kind of very indecisive, trying to figure out, are we going to be going to the upside or the downside, right? The bulls and the bears are fighting, and we do have very small selling volume, if you can see right here. But we were very oversold. What was it, the 22nd of June? So like 3 days ago. And since then we've recovered, but got rejected right at this moving average. The yellow line is our 21-day moving average. We got rejected right at it. So if you guys remember yesterday, it was pumping, but those are usually always kind of bull traps. You don't always want to trade when it's already overextended and pumping very big, because you get these rejections like this. Like it went up to 28 cents, and it came back down here to 23 cents. So always be visual on the moving averages, because those are always great indicators to see where you can see some resistance coming through. So I see a lot of significant resistance at that 28 cents mark. And then also, if we find a balance up here, we hold this 23-cent area, we could come back and retest this area. So come like this, right? Make a W. But for right now, we are very indecisive at the moment. If I look on the smaller moving averages, we're trying to hold this, but we're like kind of bouncing in between this resistance, this as support, but broken through as resistance. And now we're just on our last leg of support. So it's getting very risky for Dogecoin right now. And we were very oversold or overbought here on the RSI when we came back up here. This nice pump, right? From 18 cents all the way up to 28 cents. That was a nice move right here. If you caught that, comment down below if you caught that. And also, I just want to make sure if you guys can just hit the like button, it really helps me out. It really helps this video go out and reach more people. I would appreciate it. But yeah, so we could be forming the second leg of this double bottom. Right here is our first bottom. W pattern. Could come back down here and retest this low for that second low, right? But this is a very clear neckline right here at 27 cents. So we will face resistance if we do break out from it at 30 cents, which is also psychological level. So just be on the lookout for that. Let's see what else. What else you want me to look at? See what happens. Yeah, Aave. Yeah, I'll check Aave right now. Yeah, it's all dependent on Bitcoin. All dependent on Bitcoin. But we do have some coins that are like set up for a very nice move, and that's why you do see a lot of altcoins, even when we're in like a prolonged little bear trend, we do see some coins just like bust out and just make a couple, you know, like 20-30% moves just in a day, you know. And that's what we do use the technical analysis for, because altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin, but there are some special occasions where, you know, some news breaks out where we find ourselves, if we find a nice setup for one of these altcoins, that we can see these things just skyrocket, at least for momentarily. And then if Bitcoin starts to continue that downtrend again, then it gets cut very short, like we saw with Dogecoin right now. So we are finding a retest of that blue box. Let's look at Aave. Where'd it go? Look it up again. Okay. All right. So all these are kind of just forming these like head and shoulder patterns. Let's look on the daily. Yikes. Okay. All right. So we are getting a lot of selling volume. A lot of selling volume coming in. What else? Can draw a clear support right around here. So once we broke that, we found this lower high, we broke through it, came down here. It's looking like this is also very clear support right here, resistance. So if we look at it, yeah, we found resistance here when we found that first move to the leg up. Now we're below it, so that's not looking good. You can find this as support. This as support. And we do have a trend line, a descending trend line here. So it needs to break this. It needs to come back up and retest this area, or we're going to keep it finding rejection points from right there. Let's also look at just the Fibonacci levels. Right, we can get the swing low to this swing high. Yeah, so our golden pocket lined up perfectly with this key support that I drew right here. We found, boom, support, support, support. Another move up, support, support, and then we broke through it. So this is going to be very strong resistance at that $284 level, but we are still very far away from that. This thing could come back down here to my green lines, which are a price target of $150, $119, and $75 for my 1.272, 1.414, and 1.618 level. And as you can see, this actually lines up perfectly with my other support right here. When it came up, boom, support, kept moving forward. So this would be probably the next area that I'm thinking it would come to. So probably come back up here, retest this, get rejected, come down and retest this area before maybe either coming down lower to these areas or just trading sideways until Bitcoin starts to recover. And then we'll probably find more resistance back up here. But let's look at our moving averages as well. This is still the daily chart. So it's a more macro level. But yeah, once we found this cross right here, that's when we know it's very strong resistance. Let's just zoom in right there. You see how right here we have the cross, and it's lining up perfectly with our Fibonacci golden ratio, our golden pocket, which is this yellow set right here. So very strong resistance, like I said before. My next price target probably would be 149, 150 for Aave. But yeah, I like this token. I like this coin. So definitely sad to see some of these altcoins lose pretty big. But that's why I always just stress, not financial advice, but always research each coin and make sure that the fundamentals are strong, because those really strong altcoins are the ones that survive these bear trends the best, But you're always every altcoin is always gonna be very volatile during these downtrends compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gonna be very stable. And we also see this red line is also acting on that dynamic resistance. Our 200-day moving average was acting as nice support here until it broke down. It formed this descending triangle. And yep, so do expect a retest of this area and then also a retest of this area before getting that rejection back down here. But yeah, that's what's looking like for Aave. What else? Remember, if you guys are just tuning in right now, make sure to hit that like button. I'm going to be taking requests, so just drop them in the comments below if you want me to check any altcoin. But yeah, we just checked Doge, we checked Aave, Shiba. They're all kind of forming. But like I said too, this was also an M pattern too, a reversal pattern. So let's see if it actually hit that price target. So the neckline right here, all the way to the high, we put it back down here. So yeah, actually the price target would be back down here at this 1.272 area at 150. So that's what I'm looking. It's looking like the price is going to 150. And right now it's at 186. So that is another drop of about, if you measure it, right now it's at 180. 86. Yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of weakness with this coin right now. Just a lot of weakness. It's another 22% move to the downside. But it also could, if we see Bitcoin have a slight bounce, retest this area, and then probably come back down here before either trading sideways, maybe making an inverse head and shoulders. It's all up to Bitcoin. All up to Bitcoin. Everpedia coin. What's the ticker for that? Everpedia coin. Let's take a look at that. All right. Everpedia. IQ. I haven't heard about this coin. It's up 16%. Okay. Wow. All right. So just a massive downtrend for the longest time. And now it's kind of coming. This is looking just kind of like it's starting to look like a dead cat bounce, but I'll take a look at it on the website on TradingView. So IQ. Let's look at it. Yeah, Everpedia. Okay. Wow, we had a huge move here on June. Yeah, it's actually looking like, if you look on the daily, it's just so much resistance. And you can kind of see it. Let me just get rid of all this stuff. I can see a channel forming here. So, see how it's like forming like that. And then we have our descending support too, right here. Maybe looking like a falling wedge. It could be a falling wedge. BNB, yeah, I'll take a look at BNB too. I love BNB. I actually bought BNB at when it went down to 220, 230, and it's still kind of holding around that $300 range. I think I haven't checked on it in a minute, but let's see. Yeah, 280. So it's not that bad, but it was better. But yeah, so this is looking like it could retest this upper area of support. If it does break this area too, I'll have another descending resistance right here. So if it breaks this, we could see it go back up to a penny, so that 1 cent range. But also, let's draw some horizontal lines. So if you guys are new to TA, remember that the horizontal lines of resistance and support are more important than the ones that are slanted, like descending or ascending support lines and resistance lines. The horizontal ones are the ones that you should be paying more attention to, because they play more of a factor in where the price would be going as well. Usually those descending and ascending support and resistances are mostly for creating these kinds of patterns. So you kind of figure out, all right, maybe this is making a wedge pattern, this is making a triangle pattern, a continuation pattern, all that stuff. But like I said, those nice round numbers with a lot of zeros in it are going to be psychological, and I already know 1 cent is going to be a very psychological resistance for here. And on the RSI, it was very oversold here. So if you bought back down here, half a cent, very good entry. You know, it was also key support here too as well. Right there, boom, support right here. Come back up, retesting. Probably get a rejection from here. If it continues up, retest this area at a little bit higher than 1 cent. But let's look at our moving averages too. Yeah, we're finding a lot of resistance here as well. You see how, if you look at just these candles, how it just hit this yellow line perfectly, and it's starting to come back down. So it could come back down and retest this lower area again. If not, come and test this area. But a lot of resistance ahead. All our moving averages are above the price, meaning it's in a downtrend. It's in a bear trend. Okay, I'm buying Bitcoin at 30,000. Yeah, I hope 30,000 holds. I really do hope 30,000 holds. If not, it could come back down to maybe 28, 29,000 before getting that next spring up. But yeah, I hope 30,000 holds. This is going to be a very crazy weekend. If you guys are new to Bitcoin weekend price actions, very manipulated. So we probably could see a very crazy spike to the upside, but don't get used to that holding. You know, we've always seen either crazy moves to the upside or downside during the weekends, and they usually never hold by market open on Monday when all the traditional markets open, like the Dow, the NASDAQ, everything. You know, it always comes back down or comes back up from whatever the opposite was doing on the weekend. What's your call on SHIB? Yeah, I just went over SHIB, so I'll go over it again in a bit. Let me just go over BNB. What's up? What's up, shorts? Yeah, let's go over BNB real quick. Let's see, BNB right here. Yeah, so I drew a rising wedge here a long time ago. It just broke back down. Yeah, so here is clear resistance, right? Because made a move down here. This was support. It kept moving up. But then look, we broke down from it, retested it. Now we're coming back down. This could look like we're actually making a huge W pattern. It's pretty exciting, actually. Pretty cool. We did make a head and shoulders right here. This is the neckline. And I think we actually did hit that price target. If I draw this a little bit better, let's take a look. So this is an area of support. If I draw from the head down to the neckline, yeah, it looks like we actually just hit that price target exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna draw that as clear support too. Just because back here we're also having a lot of support right here when it was originally starting to break out, right? We found support right there at 220. And that's actually when I bought BNB back down here when I was around 220, 230. I found this was really good support. So that's why I placed my entry there. And I could have sold that top here when it went up to even 430, right, in the beginning of June. But I'm holding BNB. I know the potential for BNB. I think it can still hit $1,500 personally. So I'm still holding, you know. I could have flipped it for a small trade or for, you know, like a small win, but I'm just going to be holding the bag of BNB. You know, I'm not selling till the end of the year. But we do see that, you know, we did hit this head and shoulders price target. So let's look at our moving averages. All right, we're below our 200-day moving average. So that means that it's not going to be that much longer until we start making it above and trading towards this 21 to 50 moving average. You know, if you look back below, all these times we did not stay below the 200-day moving average for a long time. So usually if it overextends, comes down a lot, we are gonna come back up, because think of the price as moving through these moving averages, right? Either getting overextended to the downside, coming up, meeting it back in the middle, and overextending to the upside, coming kind of like a wave, you know? So I see this right now as it is getting rejected, so we are going to probably come back down here to 220 again if Bitcoin stays weak, you know, and retest that 30K level. But we do see that if it does break above this, we could see it retesting this upper area, which is 330. And if I extend this, if I extend this area of support that's now going to be resistance, I just move it this way, expect a rejection here at 350 as well. So that's what it's looking like. But BNB is still kind of holding strong. It already made that rising wedge pattern here and broke down and hit the price target perfectly. So right now it's just kind of, it actually could make a W pattern right here. We see W. So that would be really dope, because let's look at that price target for BNB. Top of the neckline, down here to the low. So right here on maybe the breakout point could be right around here. And that's a $642 price target. So that's pretty awesome, you know. So we could see that, but not for a while, not until Bitcoin recovers. Remember, all these altcoins depend on Bitcoin, leading asset. Let's look. Do you see 28K this weekend? It's possible. It's very possible. Like I said, the weekend price action is very, very notorious for being manipulated. There's not that much volume, and that's why I place so much. Attention to the volume, is because if there's very low volume and people are buying, the price can go up so quickly, but at the same time they can just start selling and it goes down just as fast. You want a lot of people buying, and usually when you find big old spikes like this huge spike in volume, that's institutional volume, meaning big players, big whales selling, you know. And so you want to be on the side of the whales in this case, when either there's buying or selling. And you know, it's a key giveaway is if you see huge amounts of volume. Like, not a lot of retail investors can make huge volume like this. It has to be institutional. So those are dead giveaways that institutions are buying right here, right? They're like buying down here and then selling a lot here. And right now we are still kind of in that oversold region, and this is the daily chart anyway. So for Bitcoin, I need to look at that right now. But let's check another weather, guys. What other coin would you like me to look at? Remember, if you're new, you're just starting watching right now, make sure to hit that like button. Really appreciate it. So just get some more people. But let's see. Let's take a look. All right. So do you think this is the end of the cycle and we will go and stay lower for 3 or 4 years? You know, everything is possible, but there's just so much news of Bitcoin being adopted by so many different, you know, places, banks, institutions. They're changing the way that they're working just because they know Bitcoin is going to be disrupting their space in the next coming years. So I do not think that the bull run is over. I think that it's just getting started, but since we were overextended, we had to come down. I mean, let's look at Bitcoin again. The signs were there for months. If you're new to the space, you know, maybe you didn't see that at first, but for a lot of us that were in the beginning of the bull run, you know, the starting of last year, it was kind of apparent that once we saw these spikes right here, if we looked at the RSI, this is the daily, do you see how our price was going up, right? Bitcoin just kept making higher highs. But if you look at our RSI, the momentum and the volume of people buying Bitcoin was getting lower and lower, meaning, look at this, it's called bearish divergence, meaning that we're in for a correction. We had that correction right here. Boom. Once we got rejected right here at this RSI, we just kept making lower lows and making lower lows here in the price as well. So that was a dead giveaway. So once we were making this second high right here, we could have told, actually, no, right here, this was the first sign of a correction that wasn't due. And we did get that, but we had a severe correction come in. But I still don't think the bull run is over. I still think we have plenty of room to go. But we are in this prolonged accumulation phase, which usually happens when we have such crazy gains. Because even though we've seen altcoins go to like incredible gains, right, thousands of percents, um, Bitcoin still made a couple 100%. Just, if you held down here, you would have made a bunch of money, but it still was due for a correction. So that's what's usually going to happen when you're in these long, prolonged bull trends. So right now, Bitcoin is still kind of holding this area, this blue box of 30K, which it needs to hold. If it starts trading below it, we could see a drop down to these lower levels. I mean, there's not that much support here. So if you see, whenever you see like sideways trading, that means that it's building support. A lot of people are entering in and holding or selling, right? So usually when you see sideways action, that's like kind of like building your support. And we found sideways action here, so we found a lot of support here. That's why we're actually staying in this range for this long. We have a lot of support here holding us up, which we saw here in these huge wicks, to the downside. That's just support, and then the price eventually coming back up. But right here, we just see like a huge run up, not much support, not much people buying, holding, selling, not a lot of sideways action until this level at around 23, right? And even then, it's not that much to 22. And then also right here at 20K, which a lot of people are saying we're going to go to 20K, but I don't think so. Like, that would totally ruin the momentum of Bitcoin, and that would end the bull market here. But I do not think that's going to be happening just because of the news, the fundamentals. And I just, in the charts too, we see like a lot of whale manipulation. Whales are moving Bitcoin. They're trying to get everybody scared. The FUD, China. So, and that's kind of a dead giveaway for me too, is China is spreading a lot of FUD. And usually they only do that when they want to scare, retail traders so they can buy more. So, yeah, so it has to hold 30K. If now we do find resistance down here at 28K, and then not much left till 23 to 20K. Let's read. Yeah, Bitcoin is finite. So what's happened to Shiba? This is what happened to Shiba Inu when it hit 0.000 because Bitcoin is finite. Yeah, so Bitcoin is finite. That's what it has going for it. It's a digital asset. Only there's 20 million in total, but there's even less because a lot of people lost. I think there's like 3 or 4 or 5 million Bitcoins that were lost in cold storage wallets that are just gone forever because you have to have the keys in order to access it. Right now the circulating supply is 18 million, and they still have around 3 or 4 million left to mine. So very finite source. That's what's very appealing to Bitcoin. Ethereum, it's very appealing because it has fundamentals behind it. It's a working coin. It has a purpose. Let's see. Any other requests for looking? Remember to hit that like button if you're here, if you're new. But yeah, let's look at Shiba again. Yeah, Shiba definitely has to just hold. Definitely has to hold above this blue box because it's getting very, very dangerous for Shiba right now. We could make this W pattern work, but at the same time, remember, this is very strong resistance at that point, 0.00089, almost that 9 region, and an 8 as well. 8 is also very important. Yep, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is awesome. So Bitcoin, people keep saying they want Shiba to do a token burn when Shiba Swap comes out. There will be coins that are suspended during the purchase of goods, as well as being held in wallets still used. Well, have they come out with their new wolf paper, like their new white paper? Let's see, because I read their first one, and let's check it out. Because they did not have any implementation for token burning in ShibaSwap for their first wolf paper. You can see, if you just read about it, What do they talk about? Huh. Did they take out? I remember there was way more. Oh, okay, right here. It's actually loading. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, I mean they do have like their interest thing with liquidity pools. You know, if you stake SHIB, you get rewards and bone, right? I think dig is for staking. Oh no, dig is for berry is for staking. Dig is for getting the interest in bone. Um, yeah, so when you do stake, it's very different from burning tokens. You know, staking does remove it out of the circulation, but at the same time, you can unstake it if you want to. I mean, with like ETH 2.0, if you were to stake Ethereum 2.0 or your old Ethereum to get Ethereum 2.0, that's you can't sell that. You know, it's locked in there. Once you stake it, you can't take it out until ETH 2.0 comes out. But in this case, it doesn't say anything about it being locked in, at least from my knowledge here. See the pools. These pools then distribute rewards proportionally to holders of the aforementioned token pools. Okay, while the stake tokens receive a fixed percentage of bone, the liquidity pools are distributed as bone per block based on the allocation points to each individual pool. Furthermore, certain pools are eligible for double or even triple returns. Yeah, always just kind of be careful when they give you a lot of interest. Remember, like, realistic interest would be probably maybe 15-20%, maybe 30%, and depending on, like, you know, the exchange, the liquidity pool, and all that stuff. But when you have 300 to 200% returns, I just need to see it to believe it, you know? But yeah. Do you make money trading? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do day trading and I also hold. In the beginning, I did a lot of swing trading too, but at this moment, you know, it's you can make money swing trading for sure. It's just I think a little bit easier and more peace of mind when you do day trading. Uh, so what I usually trade is either tokens or I do stocks for Bitcoin mining stocks like Mara, Riot, those kinds of stocks. I do day trading. So just buy the lows, sell the highs, make quick money like that. So just using TA and stuff. Hello, Jasmine. Hello, Stephanie. How you guys doing? Okay, so if you can't make money trading with $100, don't do it. It takes a long time and a lot of patience. Yeah, definitely. It does take a long time to get used to the manipulation of the stock market and crypto in general. And especially with crypto, it's very volatile. So, you know, the moves can happen very quickly and very fast. But, you know, it's always just good to have a right mindset. That's what I think helped me a lot in trading is uh, just to be as logical as you can with the charts. Always look at the charts and know what is very important here. Like, I know my blue box is very important. All right. I know my moving averages are very important. And if I see price action being bounced off very critical support and resistance, I have to take that into account. And also at the end, I put in like the last touches of my strategy, which would be like oscillators, like the RSI, volume, the MACD I use sometimes too. So always good to start off small, even paper trade, you know? Yeah. Oh, Thinkorswim has paper trading, so, you know, not using real money. And test out your strategies then, you know? First start off with getting either like trading view or any other thing to look at the chart. Start with just practicing connecting the lines, drawing resistance support. Then you can start paper trading, and then from there, if you're comfortable enough, you know, you get a good P&L, like profit and loss. Right? If you're more in the profit than you are losing, then that's when I would personally start investing my own money. But you know, not financial advice, but that's how I started. But yeah, so I started investing in Bitcoin mining, and I got in very early, like I said before, like last year, and so I did make uh, a pretty decent amount of money just investing in that and just buying and holding. Like honestly, that was one of like my best trades, was just buying and holding for a very long time. I bought in May of last year, and I didn't sell till around around March, around that time, and that got me like the best returns. Day trading is very lucrative as well, but uh, if you're just starting off investing, that's just the best strategy is just buying and holding. You don't want to sell at a loss. That's when you actually do lose money. All right. Do I look at hedge fund pressure? You mean like the amount of short interests on stocks? Is that what you're talking about? The DXY, yeah, I do look at the DXY because I do think it does have an inverse correlation with Bitcoin as well. And for some reason, I don't know why it's been pumping so much, but that definitely has a lot to do with why we see all these, the traditional markets, the stock market, we see Bitcoin, cryptocurrency in general being pretty weak. Despite having some good news, some good fundamentals for Bitcoin, we do see it's pretty weak. And that could also just be because of the technical analysis. This whole Wyckoff pattern that everyone's talking about. Um, that is probably where the pricing be going for that shape, and then just the news on top of it is giving people reason to sell. And there's still a lot of fear. I haven't checked the fear and greed index in a while, so let's take a look at that. Fear and greed. Sorry. I'm assuming it's probably like around 13 or 14 right now. Oh, it's at 20. Okay, so not that bad. Still pretty extreme fear. But yesterday was higher. And that makes sense because we were higher. We did have that drop because we broke down from that ascending wedge, that rising wedge. So we are in extreme fear, but still pretty high. I mean, compared to when I checked it like a couple of weeks ago, it was at like 10, which was the lowest I've ever seen, which is pretty intense. And if we look here, yeah, like right here, June 22nd, that was like 3-4 days ago. It was at a 10. So very extreme fear. A lot of people were scared. And it came back up. Now we're getting another small dip. But compared to, wow, we haven't been, let's look at the 1 year. Yeah, so here when we're coming up, right here in the beginning, December, January, we're on like extreme greed. Look, 81%. That means a lot of people were in the money. They're very bullish on crypto in general. And now we're just at the very lows, And time and time again, look, we're down here in the lows for greed. Not even that low. It was at 45. This would have been the perfect time to buy, And we saw this huge move to the upside. Same thing here. We're very low, but we're still like, this would have been a perfect time to buy. That's why I've been accumulating too as well. Because then we can see these huge spikes up to that greed level where everybody's in the money. They're all thinking it's going to go to the moon, and everyone's making a lot of money, but they're not selling. Always good to realize your profits. All right, there's no point in making a lot of money in crypto and then just coming back and losing it all again. Let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, so hedge fund pressure, short interest. Yes, I do look at that. But recently I haven't really been trading a lot of short interest stocks, ones that have very high short interest. So I haven't been looking at the short interest just yet. Mostly the stocks I do trade are Bitcoin related, like the Bitcoin mining stocks like I've been talking about. So I do just look at Bitcoin as the leading asset. I see if it's going to be making a big move, staying stagnant or not, and then I look at the stocks that I'm going to be trading, and then I just make my decision from there. But yeah, the DXY definitely is very inversely correlated to any asset, because once the dollar starts pumping, I always see that the stock market starts getting weaker, and I do see that Bitcoin does get weaker as well. Do I have the DXY on here? Let's take a look at the DXY right now. Right now, I think we are testing some key support. All right. Okay, so on the daily, we are getting rejected, so that's pretty good. That's awesome. That means that we are going to be coming back down here to either test this area of support, right? As you can see, if I just drew this line, resistance, support, resistance, came up, boom, came back down here. So let me draw that line right there. So if we do come down here, if we can't hold this, then we are more likely to come back down here to this 91 range. And if we come down here on the DXY, that means Bitcoin's going to have a nice little pump. So it's all just dependent on the DXY. It can hold this level right here and bounce up. But right now we did get rejected from this red 200-day moving average. So if we look here, right, came up, couldn't hold it as support. Indecision candle, right? We didn't know if it was going up or down, but it was below it, closed below it, and now we're just having candles close under it as well, but bouncing off this pre-support. So if this doesn't hold, expect it to come back down here and bounce off of this 21-day moving average. And then if this doesn't hold as well, we can come back down here to these other lows. But we just have to see, because this is also kind of dangerous too. It's looking like it could also form a W pattern here, where this is the W pattern right here. The neckline is like right here. And if we do make it back up here, retest, we could see another pump to the upside, meaning more weakness for Bitcoin. So that's also on the cards for the DXY too. But we are very oversold. As you see on the daily, very overbought. I'm bad. So very overbought here. So we are more likely to come back down here instead of staying up in this range. We haven't stayed up in this range in a long time, right? We barely come up here. Rejected, barely up here. We're mostly down in this area. I mean, that's because of inflation. You know, the dollar is getting less, it's worth less and less, and so we're going to be spending more time down here in this oversold region than we are in the overbought region. So I do think that it's going to come back down again, but I just want to play every scenario out. You know, this could be a W pattern as well, but it's kind of not looking like that at the moment. But when we do see it come down, Bitcoin is going to move up. DXY bearish flag. Bitcoin is what I was referencing. Thank you. Oh, short interest for, yeah, I did see that there was a lot of short interest for Bitcoin. Let's see, let's look at that, because I know there was a price. So short. I think it was BTC short interest. Bitcoin futures. Which one would it be? Let's take a look at this one. What does this look like? Yeah, no, I don't know what this is. Not picking, but your camera's out of focus. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I need to get a new camera. I do have my DSLR here, but I just don't have it hooked up. So I'm just using my webcam for right now. Sorry. I don't know if I can fix that. DXY, a bearish flag. Let's look back at the DXY. I mean, the way I figure out if it's a continuation pattern, right? Because it could be a bear flag, but I have seen moves where it does move to the upside and it comes back down, and it always tests these areas of support. So I always use my fib retracement. So I get the swing low down here, go up to my swing high, and usually it can come down here to this 0.382 level at 91.29. So comes up, can come back down here and retest this area before coming back up again. And right now it's still kind of holding this line too. So I would only think of it being more bearish and coming back down if it comes back here to this 5 area. And it lines up perfect with this 0.5. And the 0.5, if you don't know how to read the Fibonacci retracement, is from here at 0 here to 1. This is half of the move, so right here. So once it starts going past half of the movement, then you can continue it. You can, predict that it's going to come back down here to these further levels, maybe bounce off the golden pocket, come back up. But once it starts passing this area, the 0.382, then I expect more downside. If it doesn't bounce off of here, then I expect it to come back down more. But actually, let's take a look at the DXY maybe on a short time frame to see that bear flag that you might be talking about. Why isn't it? Does it not have form? That's weird. Oh, let's see. Maybe a different chart. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I see that. I see like a mini M, right? First high, second high. This is the neckline. And right now we're kind of struggling to get above this neckline. If we can't hold it, it's going to start coming down here to this 50 moving average and then down here to the 200-day moving average as well, where we find this support. So yeah, it's looking more bearish, definitely. Definitely looking more bearish. And we do have to break this support or this resistance here as well. So yeah, so if it does not come back up to create this second high, so it needs to make a higher high from here in order for it to remain a little bit more bullish. But if it gets rejected from here again too, like comes back down, makes that big double top, maybe like a bigger M formation where it's the first top, second top, then for sure it's coming back down. So we just have to wait here. We have to wait and see if it's going to be coming up and making a higher high. That's how we know. And if it starts making a lower low, even the momentum even comes down lower, then we can expect it to come back down. But since it is a continuation pattern, right? The first one coming down, making this flag, right? This kind of consolidating sideways. It does look like a continuation pattern that it could come back down here. So it's looking more likely to come to the downside. Yeah, BTC USD shorts. There you go. Okay. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Got it. There you go. Bitfinex. Cool. Yeah, so I did see this. It went up like 1,000% today or something like that. Something crazy. So, right, we saw the news of everybody saying it was so bearish. It was going to go to 28K. We saw a bunch of people loading up on the shorts. And then we did see that nice little recovery. Boom, everybody lost hope again. But now we're just seeing it come back up again. But, oops. We are looking like it's still kind of coming up here as resistance. It could come back down. But everyone's very speculative over the weekend saying that we are going to come back down. And everybody wants to get in on that. But what I've seen in the past is usually if everyone's thinking that's going to go up, it goes down. And it goes down hard. That's what we saw. Where was it? Where's BTC? Well, we saw that when it was reaching its all-time high at like 64K. And what sucked about that was it was during the weekend too. So it was a weekend price action. It went up. It broke an all-time high. But always be cautious when it's breaking an all-time high during the weekend or creating an all-time low during the weekend. It's not going to hold. It's not sustainable, especially because it's the weekend price action. It's no volume. Barely any people are trading. If you are trading, it's very risky. Very, very risky. But yeah, so a lot of people are just anticipating this to drop down from 28K because we do not have that much support apart from 30 to 28K that we are gonna, if we do see a massive move, it probably will come down to that 25, 23, 20K level. But that's why the shorts are going up. Everyone's really anticipating that to happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen, honestly. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think 30K is very strong support, and if we do dip down below again one more time, I think that's going to be the spring that's going to launch us back up to at least 36K, which is also another vital area of support. Let's see. What do you think about the theory of BTC in a 10-year cycle? 10-year cycle. Well, I mean, a lot of people are saying that this cycle is different because of the institutional people buying and a lot of adoption currently for Bitcoin. So people are saying that this is a different cycle. It's not going to be all like the other ones where we see just huge drops in the price, like a 90-80% correction. But I think they're all the same. I mean, maybe in a couple more cycles, it's going to be different. Way more stability because the more people that are buying, more people are adopting it, the more stable it's going to be. We're not going to see these huge fluctuations like we are seeing right now. But as of right now, we're still in the middle of adopting, of the adoption phase for these big institutions. So I don't think that this cycle is going to be different. You know, and that's just my opinion. You guys can think differently, but I just don't think so. Especially when we saw this huge correction right now, that has more opened my eyes to it being more of like the previous cycles where we do see that huge correction. I don't think the bull run is over just yet. I just think that we're just taking a little bit of a breather for a month or two before we start, you know, making all-time highs, starting to make all-time highs again. But I do think towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year, we are going to see that big correction, and it's going to come out of nowhere because everyone's going to be thinking that it's going to be different. And I do see that being said on other YouTube channels that it is different. The fundamentals are different, but I think the price action will be the same. You know, a lot of these huge whales and hedge funds and institutions, they're going to be making a lot of money when it drops, and they for sure are going to take advantage of it. You know, and I just don't want anybody getting in those crossfires unless they know what they're doing or they're shorting or something like that. But I do think that that's going to happen. That towards the end of the year to the beginning of next year, we're going to see a pretty big drop, a pretty dramatic drop. All right. Any other requests? Remember, if you're new right now, to hit that like button. Really appreciate it. Let's see. But let's look back at BTC. Okay, but yeah, still holding. It's a little bit of slight movement to the upside. Kind of just holding this line. Actually, I kind of think it's creating just a giant symmetrical triangle too. If you can see it coming on the daily, I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's looking like it's going. Oops. So it's like it's going from here to here to here to here. I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking at as a macro pattern. But also, I'm just taking into account too the Wyckoff pattern, just because it does look very similar to it. It does look pretty extremely similar to it. This is a 6-hour chart. Let me pull up that Wyckoff pattern again. So a lot of people have been looking at this, like this phase C part. Let's see if I click on it. So do you think all of the crypto market will be a buyer's market if Bitcoin drops below 30K? The crypto market will be a buyer's market. A bear market or a buyer's market, as in people buying. Okay, so these are just some examples of the Wyckoff distribution. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so I do think we're still in phase C. We're just starting. We got that low. We moved up a little bit, and now we're looking like we're forming that second low right here. Till we get that phase D and we start moving up, and we start making these continuation patterns to the upside. So if you look at this picture, and you look at what Bitcoin's doing right now, if we do manage to hold this blue box, it's really important that we do, because we made a low here all the way down to almost 28,800. So huge wick to the downside. We haven't closed any bodies of the candles below that 30K mark, but if we do make a lower low go below 28K, then it can start looking pretty bearish. It's start looking really bearish at that point. So do you think all of the so buyers? That just depends, honestly, because we do see that people are still very scared to get back into the market. If it does go back down 30K, I don't know if the volume will come in for the buyers, the bulls to come in and control that to make it go back up. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, because once we do hit below that price target and all the buy orders start coming in, it just depends on how many buy orders there are to influence that movement to the upside. We have a breakout, right? A pump to the upside. So we just have to see. And this weekend, we're going to definitely see some pretty volatile movement to the upside, to the downside. If it's to the downside, I hope nobody freaks out, because It's happened so many times before, but we're just seeing so many M's here too. Like M, M, this another M, maybe another M towards the downside. So, you know, honestly, it's very critical this weekend, especially it's towards the end of the month too. I haven't looked up how much options are expiring this month, but I know there was, I think, 5 billion of Ethereum options expiring today. Actually, the 25th, right? Today's 25th. Yeah. Uh, mean for BTC. So you mean like my price target for BTC, or what do you mean? Yeah, so yesterday was my first podcast, my first live stream. So I'm gonna be doing more live stream. I'm trying to do them daily. You know, I'm gonna be releasing videos too as well. But uh, just right now, you know, there's no real point of making individual videos for some of these altcoins just because we're still in a downtrend, and um, you know, Bitcoin is the leading asset. So you know, I just mostly want to just pay attention to Bitcoin right now and just take a look at altcoins at the same time. You know, I feel like it saves everybody a lot of time. You know. Yep, that's what I'm doing, buying and holding. So holding my bag, you know, just accumulating, buying the dips, and then I'm day trading too, as well. But also remember, not large amounts, only like 10%, 15% of my portfolio just for day trading. The rest I'm just holding. Let's see what else. Any other altcoins y'all want me to look at? Okay, how long have I been streaming? Okay, so I've been live streaming for like an hour. Cool. So I'll probably get off in a little bit. So any last requests here? Looking at some coins. But yeah, Bitcoin is just kind of trading within this range. Like I said, the horizontal support and resistance are more important than the um, ascending and descending ones. Just like if you see right here, I'm just gonna draw a box, right? So between this support and this resistance and this support, this blue box, see how like most of the trading was in this box, right? We've been trading in this box, and now we're starting to trade in this lower area right here. From here to here, we're starting to trade in this area. So we have to get out of this area. It's getting very sketchy if we stay in this area for too long. And then especially if you start trading below the blue box, that's when I'm going to be kind of hitting some alarms that we might be in a more of a downtrend for a couple months. But as of right now, we're staying above, nothing to worry about, and also nothing to worry about if the price does go down during the weekend, because weekend price action is very manipulative. And you will see too, if you don't believe me, go onto the chart during the weekend. I mean, I'll be doing a live stream anyway tomorrow and the weekend. But just see how low the volume is, how low it gets when we're during the weekend, even if it's pumping. Like, let's see, where was the weekend? Last weekend was the 19th and the 20th. So, where was the 19th and the 20th? Yeah, so like the 19th and the 20th was right here when it just started coming down, and we didn't have that much volume, but then we did continue that downtrend and came back down here to test this area. So let's see, the 20. Yeah, but then the 22nd we got it completely back up, came back up here to 35K, and then got rejected again. What was another day? The 19th, 18th, and 19th. So it would have been the 11th and 10th. 10th, yeah. Yeah, so we did see this massive move to the upside. I just still didn't trust it, you know. I didn't want to buy any time going up here, and I did wait till down here to buying in on some options, and then I rode it up to here to the very top. Saw that this was going to be resistance, and I just sold there. So I did make a good, I think, 45 to 50% profit on this move. Actually, no, this was even bigger move. So this one was, I think it was either this move to the upside or this one. I made like 200 or 300% profit. So that was a good move for me. But I got out immediately. I didn't want to stay, and thank God I did. I left because like this massive move to the downside. So yeah, you always gotta pick and choose, you know? Pick and choose. Yeah, no problem. Thank you all for staying here, you know. I appreciate the support. What time do you start if you do a live stream? Yeah, it's been really random. I did just start my first one yesterday, and that was around, forgot, I think it was like 5 or 6. I live in California, so was it PST? Pacific Standard Time? Yeah, so that's around 5 or 6 p.m. right now. Right now it's 7 over here, 7 at night. So I usually do that during the weekdays. But during the weekends, I'll probably be a lot earlier, maybe around 12 or 1. So I'll do a live stream 12 or 1. I'll start releasing some videos too as well. But yeah, as of right now, we're still kind of in a nifty range, and definitely that weekend price action is starting. So expect a lot of movement very soon, very soon. All right. Remember, if you do see this move to the upside, I just want to warn everybody: don't just jump right in if you're going to be trading. I mean, not financial advice. I just don't want anybody getting wrecked. But I've seen it so many times where, we probably make a big, massive move to the upside, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be going all the way up now," only to get rejected right here at that $38,000, and then come back down here to 34K, and then come back up. So always know this is a very strong resistance right now, and we have to come back and retest that. We might not do it like exactly after we break out. We might go into a very prolonged breakout until we come back down like this, right, from very low all the way up here, and then we came back down a couple days later. So that's just a word of caution. Always know what is very strong support and resistance, and just know that it could definitely come back to that area. Right? That's what saved me from getting wrecked multiple times here, and not jumping in when I see multiple green candles, in a row. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for me. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be here tomorrow. If you want to catch my live stream, I'll be doing it around 12 p.m. Standard Time. So, yeah, I'll see you all then. Thank you very much.